Welcome back. We are finding common denominators and then working them out. So this is your practice piece. So we are practicing finding those common denominators so get you more comfortable with that, because you're going to have to be really comfortable finding those common denominators so that you can add and subtract efficiently. So our first one is, and we are going to use the least common denominator. So we're not just going to use any random denominator, we're going to find the least common. So we got 1/4 and 3/8. I'm going to write 1/4, 3/8. We're going to find multiples of 4, multiples of 8. So multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Multiples of 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. So then I'm just going to run down. It doesn't matter which row you start with, but I'm going to start with this one. 4. Do I have any 4s here? No. 8s. Looky here. There's an 8 here and an 8 here. So I'm going to make equivalent fractions for these two fractions so that they have the denominator 8. Again, these are not equivalent. These are equivalent. So 4 times what is 8? Well, 4 times 2 is 8. So what I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. Oops, not equals, times. So 8 times what is 8? 8 times 1 is 8. So what I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. 3 times 1 is 3. So my common denominator is 8, and my two fractions are 2/8 and 3/8. Again, these 2/8 is not equivalent to 3/8 because it just makes it easier to see, so I can easily compare these. 2/8 is less than 3/8, so 1/4 is less than 3/8. It just makes it so much easier to compare. It makes it also easier to add. 2/8 plus 3/8 is 5/8. Makes it so much easier when you see that. Number 2. We have 11/12 and 5/8. So I'm going to rewrite my fractions. 5/8. I'm going to do multiples of 12 and multiples of 8. I am going to have you go ahead and do multiples, your 9th multiple. So you're going to do 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3. So 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 times 4 is 48, 12 times 5 is 60, 12 times 6 is 72, 12 times 7 is 84, 12 times 8 is 96, 12 times 9 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 12 times 9 is 104. 104. Multiples of 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. So then last time I used my top one, my top number. This time I'll use my bottom number. So I'll look for any 8s. Nope. 16ths. Nope. 24s. Yay! 24. 24. So least common denominator is 24. So we're going to make these equivalent fractions with denominators that have 24. So 12 times what is 24? So you can use your list here too. 12 times 1, 12 times 2. So that was times 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. So 11 times 2 is 22. 8 times what is 24? Well, 8 times 1, 2, 3. It's the third one over. So I'm going to multiply by 3/3, which is also 1. 5 times 3 is 15. So there's my two fractions, 22 24ths and 15 24ths. We're going to go on to the third one. Next page, page 2. We are going to do 4/5 and 1/6. Again, rewriting our fractions. I like to write them vertically just because it gives me more space to do this, and it just helps me out. So I'm going to do multiples of 5 and multiples of 6. So multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Multiples of 6, 6, 12, 18, 24. 6 times 5 is 30, 36, 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. Okay, so go through, least common denominator, 5, 10, no, 15, 20, no, 25, it's 30. And there might be a few of you that see that quicker than what I'm doing. That's great. You can go ahead and start getting started. I would pause it and then check to see if you've got the right answer. So I'm going to make denominators of 30. So 5 times what is 30? 5 times 6. So I'm going to multiply by 6, 6. 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to multiply 1/6 by 6 times what is 30? So that's 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5/5. 5 times 1 is 5. So my two fractions are right there. Number 4, we have 3/5 and 1/4. 3/5, 1/4. Multiples of 5, multiples of 4. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and 36. So I'm going to look for 8, 12, 16, 20, there it is. Because these are in numerical order, you don't have, like, once I get past, like, so here I was looking for 12, I got 15, 12 is not going to be back here because it's less than 15. So we're going to make equivalent fractions where the denominator is 20, because that's my least common denominator. So 3/5, I'm going to multiply by 4. 5 times 4 is 20, so 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20, so 1 times 5 is 5. So 12 20ths and 5 20ths. Next one, number 5. We have 5/8 and 1/5. 5/8, 1/5. Multiples of 8, multiples of 5. So multiples of 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So going through 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, nope, 35, nope, 40. Yep, that common denominator is 40. So 8 times 5 is 40, so 5 times 5 is 25, because what I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. 5 times what is 40? 5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 8 is 8. So there's my two fractions, 25 40ths and 8 40ths. On to page 6. Or problem 6, page 3. Fractions 1/12 and 1/2. So multiples of 12, multiples of 2. Multiples of 12 are 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108. I think I may have made a mistake. I did. I put 104. It's 108, but that's not a common multiple. That should be 108. Oops. I hope you caught it. Multiples of 2. See if I get these right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I'm not going to do 20, that's times 10. So, which ones do they have? So I'm going to start with a larger one. 12. Bam. Look, they both have 12s. So I'm going to make equivalent denominators, or equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So they have the same denominators. They have 12s. So 2 times what is 12? 2 times 6. So I have to multiply my 1 by 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 12s equals 1/2. And 12 times what is 12? Well, that is a grand old total of 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So 1/12 and 6/12 are my two fractions. Next one, 1/6, 4/9. Multiples of 6, multiples of 9. So I'm going to do my multiples. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. So my 9s, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and 81. So if I started at the bigger end, I could see I do have a common denominator, but remember, we're looking for the least common denominator, so we want the one that's the least. So there's no 6s, there's no 12s, there's 18s. So we're going to use 18s as our common denominator. So this is going to be 18 as our least common denominator. So 9 times 2 is 18, so I got to do 4 times 2, that's 8. 6 times 3 is 18, so 1 times 3 is 3, so we have 3 18ths and 8 18ths. Easy peasy. Most of you should be getting the hang of this. Now this one is a little bit messier because it's got a denominator of 27. I went ahead and put this on here because I thought it was kind of fun. Plus, if you know your multiples, many of you already know what's going to be the common denominator. So we're going to still go ahead and list our fractions out, because when we put them vertically, again, it makes it easier to show my work this way, and that way I can show my answers easier, and it makes it more organized. And us with those math brains, we like things organized. So we're going to do multiples of 9 and multiples of 27. So I'm going to start with 9s. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and 81. Then I'm going to do multiples of 27. So, 27 times 1, 27. 27 times 2 is 54. But you know what? I'm going to make it easier for you, because most of you probably already went, wait a minute, Miss LaVoy, stop. I do want you to have the 9 multiples of 9. But for the 27s, we don't have to go any further. Of course it's 27, because 9 times 3 is 27. So we're going to make so our common denominator is 27. We're going to make equivalent fractions for these two fractions, but they're each going to have a denominator of 27. So, of course, this bottom one's pretty easy because I'm not changing anything. I'm just multiplying by 1. So it's still going to be 8 27ths. Then I'm going to multiply 9 times what is 27? Well, that's 3. And so what I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. So that's going to be 21. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is we have the last 3. 1, 2, 3. what I'm going to do is you can pause the video, but I'm going to take my paper away and I'm going to solve them. I'm going to kind of talk about it a little bit, but I do want you to write your fractions down. So we have 7/10 and 3/8. Write your multiples of 10, multiples of 8, and 10 should be pretty easy. I do want you to have 9 of them. If you do more, that's fine, but you know, doing too many, you don't need to. Then find your common denominator. I like this one because this one could lend itself to a bigger fraction if you didn't use the least common denominator. Make sure you multiply your denominator and your numerator by the same number. Okay, so there, number 9. So go ahead and pause. If you didn't finish ahead of me, pause. Go ahead and finish your work. I kind of messed up a little bit. I don't know why I was trying to write a different number. You know, Miss LaVoy, sometimes I make mistakes. It's okay. So you ready for the next one? No cheating. I know some of you are going to cheat already on me. So next one, make sure you write your fractions down. Do your multiples of 3 and multiples of 11. And if you got to this part and went, wait a second, Miss Savoy, I have no common denominators. And I would tell you, you are correct. So what do you do in this case? Well, then you have to keep going. So we did multiples of 9. So we did 3 times 9. So I got to do 3 times 10. And then 3 times 11. And then, oh, look right there. I found my common denominator. So make sure you write that down. Make sure you write those fractions and show your work. And hopefully you were done faster than Miss Savoy. Okay, last one, we got 5/9 and 4/15. And I do want you to do your multiples of 15 because I believe you should know those. Okay. Oops. Should have your multiples. Make sure you find your common multiple. The reason you should know your 15s is because it goes with time. A lot of things with time will have the quarter of an hour, which is 15. 1/4 of 60 is 15. So number 11, show your work. Hopefully you got it right. When you have this finished, you are going to go into your small math book and you're going to take out page 127, which is also going to be your code for this worksheet, 127. So when you finish page 127, make sure your name is on your work. You're going to turn in your notebook, this packet, and page 127. So you will get credit for all three things. And it'll be hopefully close to 1,500 points. So if you have any questions, make sure you write them down, and we'll see you in the next video.